10529, dated 5th September 2022. Further, honorable members, on the 6th of September 2022, I did publicize the declaration of vacancy by advertisement in 3 local dailies of nationwide circulation, and also extended the invitation to interested persons to submit their nomination papers for the election to the office of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Number 2, Standing Order 51B requires a clerk to also designate the place and period for receipt of nomination papers. In this regard, honorable members, I appointed Wednesday, 7th September 2022 as a day for receipt of nomination papers and designated the place for the receipt of the papers. Further, in keeping with the requirements of Standing Order 54, I also maintained a register for purpose of collection and receipt of nomination papers. And 3, pursuant to Standing Order 55, immediately upon the close of the nomination period last evening, I publicized and made available to all members-elect a list showing all qualified candidates for election to the office of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Copies of the curriculum vitae and of all qualified candidates were also availed. Honorable members, the following 37 persons collected nomination papers from my office between Monday, 5th September 2022 at 2:30 p.m. and Wednesday, 7th September 2022 at 12:30 p.m. 1. Isaac Aluoch Polo Aluocher. 2. Jared Oluoch Oudo. 3. Dr. Noah Winja. 4. Moses Masika Wetangula. 5. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. 6. Gideon Kiplangat Cheruyot. 7. Gilbert Kimngetich. 8. David Mwaure Wahiga. 9. Daniel Wanyonyi Opilo. 10. Timothy Ayeko Olingo. 11. Marshall Mungare. 12. William Washira Mwaniki. 13. Isaac Wangengi Wainaina. 14. Samuel Nyachwaya Nyamao. 15. Kevin Mabeta Nyamari. 16. Dorothy Kemunto Nyangori. 17. Matthew Eric Deya Okongo. 18. Orina Jepnei Nyakwama. 19. Joshua Boit. 20. Dhangeta Frederick Mukaria. 21. Dr. Mbi Kavindo. 22. Peter O. Nyananga. 23. Jinan Zioki Biuva. 24. Omari Dambi. 25. Samuel Mwangangi Zamalu. 26. Stanley Muindi Masai. 27. Kenneth Otiato Marende. 28. Miriti Joseph Mulindo. 29. George Gitangu Viongo. 30. David Ikava Mwangangi. 31. Danson Gaduthi. 32. Nambiswa Brian. 33. Katukoi K. Romanos. 34. Amos Otieno Ochuka. 35. Frederick Otieno Gaya. 36. Gadhi Irungu. 37. Joseph Mijire Gaku. Honorable members, by the close of the nomination period on Wednesday, 7th September 2022 at 8:30 p.m., the following 19 persons had returned to the clerk their respective nomination papers for election as Speaker of the National Assembly. 1. Dr. Noah Winja. 2. Moses Masika Wetangula. 3. Gideon Kiplangat Cheruyot. 4. Timothy Ayeko Olingo. 5. Marshall Mungare. 6. William Washira Mwaniki. 7. Isaac Wangengi Wainaina. 8. Kevin Mabeta Nyamira. 9. Dorothy Kemunto Nyangori. 10. Matthew Eric Dea Okongo. 11. Joshua Kipkemoi Boit. 12. Viangeta Frederick Mukaria. 13. Dr. Mbi Augustine Kavindu. 14. Jinan Zioki Mbiuva. 15. Samuel Mwangangi Zamalu. 16. Kenneth Otiato Marende. 17. Josh Gitangu Thiongo. 19. David Ikava Mwangangi. 19. Danson Gadudi Karaya. Honorable members, I wish to also notify the House that I also received a letter from one Mr. Omar Dambi, dated 7 September 2022, withdrawing his candidature for election as the Speaker of the National Assembly. Additionally, honorable members, I wish to report that Mr. Isaac Aluoch Polo Aluochir, one of the persons who collected nomination papers, did not return the completed form. However, he did appear before the clerk and verbally withdrew his candidature. Further, honorable members, the following 15 persons who returned their nomination papers did not qualify as candidates for election as Speaker of the National Assembly, as their nomination papers were not accompanied by names and signatures of 20 members in support of their respective candidates as required by Standing Order 5-3. 1. Dr. Noah Winja. 2. Gideon Kiplangat Cheruyot. 3. Timothy Ayeko Olingo. 4. Marshall Mongare. 5. William Washira Mwaniki. 6. Isaac Wangengi Wainaina. 7. Kevin Mabeta Nyamari. 8. Dorothy Kemunto Nyangori. 9. Joshua Kipkemoi Boit. 10. Dr. Mbi Augustine Kavindu. 11. Jinan Zioki Biuva. 12. Samuel Mwangangi Nzamalu. 13. George Gitangu Thiongo. 14. David Ikavi Mwangangi. And 15. Danson Gadudi Karaya. Honorable members, you will recall that at the close of the nomination period yesterday evening, I did notify honorable members of the two candidates qualified to participate in the election of the Speaker of the National Assembly. In my notification, I stated that my office was in the process of verifying the documentation submitted in support of two other applicants, namely Mr. Viangeta Frederick Mukaria and Mr. Okongo Matthew Eric Dea. Honorable members, I wish to inform the House that verification of the documents submitted by the two applicants against the copies of identification documents are available to my office by the various members purported to have supported the candidature for today's election reviewed glaring anomalies. With regard to the nomination papers returned by Mr. Viangeta Frederick Mukaria, it was noted that the Kenya National Identification numbers purported to appended to the names of several honorable members are at variance with the information officially available by honorable members to Parliament as part of their biodata. Similarly, honorable members, it was noted that the nomination papers returned by Mr. Okongo Matthew Eric Dea appended signatures purported to belong to several members that did not tally with the signatures recognized by my office from the biodata forms signed by the affected members. Indeed, I have today since received written complaints from a number of the affected members regarding falsification of their support to the two candidates. In particular, honorable members have disowned their purported endorsement of the said candidates. As at the time of this communication, I have on record formal protests from the following members: the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wa, the Honorable Beatrice Adagala, the Honorable Mohammed Ali Mohammed, the Honorable Mary Wamaua, the Honorable John Mutunga, the Honorable Githua Wamushukuru, the Honorable Samuel Moroto, the Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, the Honorable Jen Kihara, the Honorable Julius Meli, the Honorable Wajiku Muhia, the Honorable Charity Kadhambi, the Honorable Paul Mwirigi, and the Honorable David Ikaria. Honorable members, in light of the above cited anomalies and the formal protests received from members, I have disqualified the two persons from contesting in the election for the Speaker scheduled for today, 8th September 2022. Cognizant of the fact that the willful submission of documents containing misleading, falsified, or fraudulent information for use in proceedings of a very crucial nature by this House may constitute a criminal offense, I have formally requested the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to investigate the circumstances under which the documents were submitted and take appropriate steps thereafter. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Article 106 of the Constitution and Standing Order number 5 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, out of the 19 persons who completed and returned their nomination papers, the following two persons qualified as candidates for elections as Speaker of the National Assembly. 1. Kenneth Otiato Marende. 2. Moses Masika Wetangula. Honorable members, Standing Order 6 provides as follows regarding the voting procedure where more than one candidate qualifies to stand for election as the Speaker. 1. The election of the Speaker shall be by secret ballot. 2. The clerk shall, at the commencement of each ballot, cause the ballot box, empty and unlocked, to be displayed to the House, and shall, in the presence of the House, lock the box, which shall thereafter be kept in the full view of the House until the conclusion of the ballot. Honorable members, we shall shortly proceed to issue ballot papers to you, which will be issued by officers to each member in the manner I will guide. And so, when your name is called, you will receive one ballot paper at the table and proceed to the voting booth. Mark your ballot paper and proceed to cast your vote. For clarity, honorable members, a member who wishes to vote shall mark his or her ballot paper by placing a visible mark in the box provided for beside the name of the preferred candidate as a member wishes to vote for. Thereafter, the member should fold the marked ballot paper before leaving the booth and deposit the folded ballot paper in the ballot box. A member who in the process of voting has marked his or her paper in error may, by returning it to the clerk, obtain another ballot paper in its place. The initial ballot paper marked in error shall be marked cancelled and destroyed by the clerk. Honorable members, when it appears to the clerk that all members who are present in the House and who wish to vote have voted and deposited their ballot papers in the ballot box, the clerk shall unlock the box, examine the ballot papers, and having rejected those unmarked or spoiled, report to the House the result of the ballot. May I also notify you, honorable members, that after the clerk has unlocked the ballot box, a member who has not already recorded his or her vote shall not be entitled to do so. The verification and counting of ballots shall take place in the presence of members appointed as agents or representatives by the candidates. For clarity, each candidate is allowed a maximum of one agent or representative for the purpose of the ballot. Honorable members, in line with the requirements of Standing Order 7.1, a person shall not be elected as Speaker unless supported by votes of 2/3 of all honorable members. The House is reminded that this 2/3 threshold is not a constitutional requirement, but a procedural step to ease the election of a Speaker on the first round of the ballot. The procedural threshold applies only to the first round of voting and does not affect the quorum required for the commencement and continuation of the sitting and the election. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 7.2, in the event that no candidate is supported by the votes of 2/3 of all members at the first round of voting, the candidate who receives the highest number of votes and the candidate who receives the next highest number of votes shall alone stand for election in the next round. The candidate who receives the highest number of votes in the second round shall stand elected Speaker. Honorable members, we have arranged the voting booths next to the dispatch table. There are 2 booths on each side of the table. Members on my right hand side will cast their ballots in the voting booths placed on the side of their side at the table, and vice versa for the members on my left. Honorable members, before the House proceeds to vote, I wish to remind the House that this particular voting is by secret ballot. Members are not allowed to display their marked ballots to the House or to the galleries. Members from the media are also reminded to observe Rule 3 of the broadcasting rules in the first schedule to the standing orders. And for the avoidance of doubt, the said rule provides as follows, and I quote: wide-angle shots of the chamber shall be used during voting and division, and no shot shall be taken so as to show the manner in which a member has voted in any secret ballot. Having explained the voting procedure, I now wish to direct the Chief Sanjera Terms to open the ballot box and display it to the honorable members. Honorable members, you have witnessed for yourself that the ballot box is empty. And I now direct the Chief Sergeant at Arms to close and lock the ballot box. The next step before we start to call out names for members to come and vote is to inquire of the House of any member designated by the candidates as their agent or representative, which is strictly one agent or representative. Who is for Honorable Marende? Okay. Okay. So the Honorable TJ Kajwang. And who is for the Honorable Wetangula? The Honorable Dr. Pukose. Okay. Now, honorable members,
we have legitimate issues and interventions to make. You said that after this you are going to call me. That is why I'm asking that you should have allowed us to make interventions.
honorable members,
those people that will sit down.
members, please be seated so that I can guide the House. Just be seated. Take your seats. Take your seats, honorable members. I want to guide the House. I will allow a few interventions from the members before we proceed to the ballot. And I will now allow the Honorable TJ Kajwang to yes. Yeah, I will give you. I will invite you. Just one question.
Thank you, Madam Returning Officer. And first of all, because this is the first time we are interacting with the table, we want to thank you for preparing elaborately this House to enable to accommodate all of us. I have a constitutional fundamental issue to raise. And members who have been here before and members who are joining us for the first time, this is a debating chamber. And we'll be here for 5 years. And so all the issues that need to be spoken, which the nation needs to know, should be spoken, because that is why we have come, and that is why we took off to present these issues. And so I raise a constitutional fundamental issue on the candidate on the table, which is number 4, Honorable Senator Moses Wetangula, touching Madam Returning Officer. I am sure that when members will keep quiet and listen, they will be able to follow me and be able to respond. And all those issues can be responded to in a very civilized manner. Whether that candidate is legible as a candidate for Speaker. Madam Returning Officer, under the Constitution, Article 103, as read with Article 106, mandates that a person is qualified if that person is not a member of this House, and if he's a member of the other House, he has submitted his resignation to the Speaker. No, just give me time. You are an old man. You are an old man. No, don't say so. Use parliamentary words to me. Now, Madam Returning Officer, as much as I've been able to check out, the member who is number 4 is actually an elected senator of the other House. Now, if he is elected member of the other House, he ought to have presented this resignation to the Speaker. I have learned reliably that that person presented this resignation letter on 9th of August to the Speaker, allegedly to the Speaker of that House. Now, if you look at Article 10, when you look at allow me, order. Order. A day after the elections. I'm explaining myself, please. Now, the Speaker to whom he allegedly delivered his resignation letter was already an elected governor. It means, according to the Constitution, 103 says that the term expires on 102 at the date of the general election. The term of this House and the term of the other House expired on 8th, not on 9th. The term of the Speaker of that House expired at that time when that person was elected as governor. It means that on 9th, there was no Speaker to whom the candidate would have given his election papers. So the fact of the matter is that if you have an office without a substantive holder thereof, then that office is no office. So if, as I am reliably informed, that he tendered his resignation to an office without the substantive member being, the substantive holder of that office being validly in that office, then he resigned to no Speaker. I ask you, Madam Returning Officer, because this is a very, it is not, no, he is a returning officer. By law, he is a returning officer. That is what he is. Yes? This is an issue which is not only important to us, but important to all those other candidates who have a valid, some of them who are not in this House, who have a valid responsibility to ask. The last one, and this may draw a lot of protestation from somebody who does not like my thinking, and in this House, we must not like each other's thinking. The same person that is the candidate, there is a valid resolution of this House. There is a valid resolution of this House, which in record, saying that that particular person is not eligible to hold a public office in Kenya. Madam Returning Officer, this is a House of Records. This is a House of Records. There is a resolution of this House, passed by this House, implementable by this House, that the person should not hold a public office arising out of matters concerning integrity. So in both those grounds, I ask you, returning officer, to find that one Moses Wetangula is not eligible to be a candidate for the Speaker of this House. I thank you so much. Speaking in this House is very easy.
Honorable members, I will now allow the Honorable Ichung'wah to raise his point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Clerk. And let me just begin by thanking the Honorable TJ Kajwang for that point of order. Although unfortunately, Honorable Clerk, and I would really beg this 13th Parliament that we allow each other time to be heard, because the Honorable TJ Kajwang has a right to raise whatever issue he wants to raise, and we all have a right to respond, and eventually the presiding officer will probably make a determination. But allow me to just go straight to some of the issues that the Honorable TJ Kajwang has raised. And it is indeed true that one can only be elected as Speaker if you are not a sitting member of Parliament. That includes members of the Senate. But it is also not true what the Honorable TJ Kajwang alleges, that the Honorable Senator Wetangula resigned on the 9th of August. It is indeed preposterous for the Honorable TJ Kajwang to make an allegation in this House that he cannot substantiate by way probably of tabling a copy of that letter that he purports the Honorable Senator Wetangula resigned on the 9th of August. It is also in my Honorable Clerk that the Honorable Moses Wetangula indeed resigned 2 days after the gazettement of senators by IEBC in the Kenya Gazette. And those are facts. And I want to believe, Madam Clerk, that in your office you have a copy of that letter, which the Honorable TJ Kajwang does not have. What is purporting here can only be equated to what they said was opaque. Honorable Speaker, it is also not true that indeed when the Constitution that the Honorable TJ Kajwang is quoting says that the term of the Parliament ended on the 8th of August. It is true for the Honorable TJ Kajwang and myself and the Honorable Senator Wetangula, who was a senator in the 12th Parliament. But the office of the Speaker exists in perpetuity. And until another Speaker, today as we speak, Madam Clerk, Speaker J.B. Muturi is still the Speaker of the National Assembly until a new Speaker is elected this afternoon. Honorable Speaker, what's the Honorable TJ Kajwang? And he knows because he's a seasoned lawyer. He knows what he's telling the country on live television as a lawyer is not true, because the Speaker's office exists into perpetuity, and it will until and unless we elect a new Speaker. Speaker J.B. Muturi remains in office. In fact, as we speak, TJ Kajwang, you know Speaker Muturi is seated in his office and transacting business. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, let me not even belabor that point. Honorable Speaker, I just want to beseech that we do not spend a lot of time arguing things that could be described as rumors, hot air, things that are opaque. And Honorable Speaker, I would beg that you, Honorable Clerk, I would beg that you stick to the rules and procedures of this House and occasion the election of a new Speaker to progress without wasting much time. We saw these shenanigans in Bomas of Kenya. The same people who were in Bomas, some of them are here, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Chair, and I really want to beg that you do direct that we proceed. Thank you, Honorable Clerk.
Honorable members, I will allow two more members. I will allow the Honorable Wandai. Yes. That's a different issue. Not about election of speaker. Okay, then I will allow the Honorable Duale, please.
Honorable Madam Acting Clerk and the Returning Officer. Madam Acting Clerk, and I think I want first to ask the House that it's great to welcome the new members and everybody here in the 13th Parliament. Honorable TJ, and I really want us to listen to each other, and then at the end of the day, we will vote. Honorable TJ raised two issues, and Honorable Ichungwa answered one. Honorable Madam Acting Clerk, I want to refer you to Article 74 of the Constitution. And it says, before assuming a state office, or acting in a state office, or performing any function of a state office, a person shall take and subscribe the oath or affirmation of office in a manner and form prescribed by the third schedule under an Act of Parliament. Madam Acting Clerk and the presiding officer for this afternoon, until this morning, before I took an oath as a member for Garissa Township, I was not a state officer. And in that consequence, the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula ceased to be the senator for Bungoma on the 9th of August 2022. From the 9th of August to this afternoon, the Honorable Moses Masika, before he submitted his resignation, is a senator-elect. Is a senator-elect, and so is not a state officer. And in that consequences, Madam Acting Clerk, in fact, my submission to you is that based on Article 74 of the Constitution, and that you become a state officer on the basis when you take an oath or an affirmation, Honorable Moses Wetangula, senator-elect, was not under any legal or constitutional obligation even to resign. Resign from what? Resign from what? Because he is not a state officer. Two, Madam Speaker, and that is based on Article 74 of this Constitution. Two, Madam Speaker, the Honorable TJ has raised a report, an advance report of this House, a resolution of this House that indicted Senator-elect and the candidate of this afternoon. Madam Acting Clerk, I want to prove to you that I had the privilege and to be a member of that 10th Parliament, in which Honorable TJ Kajwang was not a member. And that report was done by the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee, in which a ranking member was the chair, the Honorable Eden Kainan. And based on that report, the Honorable Moses Wetangula stepped aside. Madam Acting Clerk, you know resolutions of this House is always based on further investigation by other agencies within the criminal justice system. That this House doesn't have the tools and the equipment to do a serious investigation. So the resolution of this House was sent to other bodies, the way we do, to the DCI, to the Auditor General, to the AACC. And I want to confirm that those agencies have cleared Moses Masika Wetangula and President Kibaki. President Kibaki reappointed Moses Wetangula back to his ministerial position. So, Madam Speaker, facts speak for themselves. And Mr. Speaker, let us not use the law selectively. Speaker, we need to vote. Today we have an opportunity, Madam Speaker. All of us sitting here, apart from the nominated members, we have been dealing with the voters. But today we are voters ourselves. And we must exercise our constitutional right as 349 members. The law is very clear. Even if, and I want to challenge, even if Moses Masika Wetangula did not resign and did not brought you a resignation letter based on Article 74 of the Constitution, the Honorable Moses Wetangula is not a senator of the 13th Senate, of the 3rd Senate, because he has not taken the oath of office. And the moment all of us took an oath of office this afternoon, from morning, we now become state officers, so that you can resign. So, Madam Speaker, let us not have a debate. Let us give chance. These members have an opportunity. They have a constitutional right. Madam Acting Speaker, we have a very daunting task ahead of us. So that report was not tabled. I think myself, Honorable Bandi, Honorable Kainan, there are very few of us who are in the 10th Parliament who know that report. So let us, those who want to vote for Kenneth Marende, I have served under him as a speaker. Those who want to vote for Moses Masika Wetangula, they will vote for him. Let us stop the shenanigans and sideshows. Like the Senate, let us go and have a speaker so that next week we go to orientation and we start implementing the Kenya Kwanza Hustler Fund as fast as possible.
Honorable members, before I rule, it is only fair that I have given 3 members on this side to speak. I will give 3 members on this side to speak. You okay? You okay? Okay. Okay then. I will allow the Honorable Bandi, please. Let me give the Honorable Bandi.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, allow me also to, she's presiding over the elections. She may be returning officer. I don't know whether she was gazetted or she gazetted herself. But I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate all members who have made it to the 13th Parliament. I know it was not easy, but having said that, allow me just to say one thing. Madam Presiding Officer, this matter, I think, even if it may not be resolved today and we'll proceed and vote, it is something that the people of Kenya need to look at. At what point would an elected member be considered a member of Parliament? By the time, that is your opinion, let me speak my opinion. I'm intelligent enough. Assuming office is not the same thing as being elected. The moment the returning officer in your electoral area pronounces you as elected, it is only the court of law. It is only the court of law which can reverse that decision. Whether you take oath of office or you don't take oath of office. Once you have been elected, pronounced as such, gazetted in the Kenya Gazette, as a senator, you become a senator-elect. Whether there is elect after your name or the senator, it is still there. So this is a matter that cannot just be wished away. In fact, I think the people of Kenya made a mistake when we passed this constitution. there is a law. When you look at the Constitution, just a minute. When you look at the Constitution, Madam Presiding Officer, the Constitution speaks to no one can be a member of Parliament if you are a state officer, but goes ahead to exempt serving members of Parliament from running. Now, the same should have happened. I don't see why a sitting member of National Assembly cannot run for the office of the Speaker and resign after being elected. That is what happened in 2008 when Kenneth Otiato Marende was the MP for Emuhaya. So if something is wrong with our laws, we need to accept it. Let us not speak, just take sides. You took an oath just a few minutes ago to protect this Constitution. There is a problem in the Constitution. We need to fix it. But as it is today, there is gray area. And therefore, Madam Presiding Officer, whether you let Honorable Moses Wetangula run or not, the people of Kenya will have to deal with the elephant in the room, that there is a problem with that provision of the law requiring even sitting members of Parliament to resign before they become the Speaker of either House of Parliament. I submit my case.
Let us vote. Yes. Let's vote.
Thank you very much, Acting Clerk. I'd like to thank you. And I just like to say that I believe in freedom of speech. But I just want to rise, Madam Clerk, pursuant to Standing Order number 83, as read together with Standing Order number 107. I'm very surprised that you've been allowing people who have been in this house for some time just to rise on points of order based on no particular order. You know, you know, like my very good friend Honorable Mbadi, I respect him a lot, but he just rose on no point of order. But you know, there was no debate. There's no debate. There is no bill. There is no bill in the House, Madam Acting Clerk. I would like to say this. One, Madam Clerk, you have issued a statement. My very good friend, the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, who is a lawyer like myself, he knows that once you have issued a statement, your statement is either factual, in accordance with this House and standing orders and the Constitution, or he gives further information that he has. But he cannot bring third-rate hearsay into this House to challenge your statement. You know, your statement cannot be challenged on the basis of what somebody has heard. You must produce documentary evidence to countenance your statement. In the absence of that, Madam Clerk, you should rule everybody out of order. May I read, Madam Clerk? According to Standing Order 107, a member commits an act of disorderly conduct of that member if he deliberately gives false information to the House. We were told that Senator Moses Wetangula resigned on the 9th of August. That information has not been given to us here. And you just allowed that member just to sit. And he's a very senior member in the bench, of the bar. And I have a lot of respect for him. My submission, Kura tutapiga, where we are going to vote. My submission, Madam Clerk, in the absence of any documentary evidence contrary to your statement, I submit that we vote. Thank you.
Honorable members, I would like to respond to the issues that have been raised. Yeah. So members, if you could be silent, I will respond on the matters that have been raised concerning one of the candidates who is standing for election. And I want to respond as follows, generally, especially on the matters that have been raised by the Honorable T.J. Kajwang, who has asked a question about a person who is elected as a member of Parliament and in this case, a senator, whether this senator is eligible for election as a speaker. And I have also listened to the various submissions on the matter by the members who have spoken from both sides of the House. I have also looked at the relevant provisions of the Constitution and the law, and I now wish to communicate my findings on this matter. Honorable members, Article 106(1)(a) of the Constitution provides that there shall be a Speaker of each Parliament who shall be elected by the House in accordance with the standing orders from among persons who are qualified to be elected members of Parliament but are not such members. The relevant qualification for election as a member of Parliament are set out in Article 99(1)(a) and (b) of the Constitution. That is, that the person is registered as a voter and also has satisfied any educational, moral, and ethical requirements prescribed by the Constitution or by an Act of Parliament. Additionally, Article 99(2) provides that a person is disqualified from being elected a member of Parliament if that person is a state officer or a public officer other than a member of Parliament, has at any time within the 5 years immediately preceding the date of election held office as a member of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, has not been a citizen of Kenya for at least the 10 years immediately preceding the date of the election, is a member of a county assembly, is of unsound mind, is an undischarged bankrupt, is subject to a sentence of imprisonment of at least 6 months as at the date of registration as a candidate or at the date of election, or is found in accordance with any law to have misused or abused a state or public office, or in any way to have contravened the provisions of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Honorable members, let me just go through my finding. First thing I would want to say about the issues that have been raised by members is that on the 5th of September, after the candidate submitted his nomination papers, the candidate in question, pursuant to Standing Order 5 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I did write to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission seeking confirmation as to whether this particular candidate is qualified to be elected as a member of Parliament under Article 99 of the Constitution, and whether or not is such a member. In a letter dated 6th, please just listen. In a letter dated 6 September 2022, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission wrote back to me, confirming that pursuant to Article 99 of the Constitution and Section 24 of the Election Act, number 24 of 2011, Moses Masika Wetangula is a registered voter. Fact number 00 105 121 119 09 45 11 in Kambuchai constituency. And the and the IEBC indicated that he is duly qualified to contest for election as Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable members, as you all know, the IEBC is a body established by Article 88 of the Constitution of Kenya and charged with the registration of voters and registration of candidates for election. So the determination by the Commission is formally on record in my office. Secondly, honorable members, now allow me to draw you to Article 74 of the Constitution, which the Honorable Duale has made reference to, and which provides that before assuming office, or a state office, acting in a state office or performing any functions of a state office, a person shall take and subscribe the oath or affirmation of office in the manner and form prescribed by the third schedule or under an act of parliament. It should also be noted that the third schedule to the Constitution sets out various forms of national oaths of affirmation for state officers, including the one for members of parliament. Honorable members, a comparative glance, even at jurisdictions elsewhere in the world, and I would like to quote the United Kingdom, a member of parliament is not deemed to be a member until that person has taken the required oath of office. In the United Kingdom, honorable members, members of both houses of parliament are required by law to take an oath of allegiance to the crown, and MPs cannot take their seat, speak in debates or vote or receive a salary until they have taken oath of affirmation. In fact, in the UK, the seats could be declared vacant if you make such a mistake. And in the United States of America, the Constitution also requires members of the Congress to take and to be bound by an oath of office of affirmation as such. So members usually take the oath before they have assumed office. In view of the stated provisions of Article 74 of the Constitution, members, it is clear that a person who has been elected to serve as a member of parliament retains his status as a member of the public until they assume office as a member of parliament by taking or subscribing to the oath or affirmation of a member of parliament as set out in the third schedule to the Constitution. And lastly, honorable members, let me finish. In any event, even if we were to overlook the provisions of Article 74 of the Constitution relating to the assumption of office, as I have enumerated, and argued that there was need for the senator to resign from office, may I now confirm that I am in receipt of a letter dated 29th August, written by the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, addressed to the Speaker of the Senate, in which he communicated in writing to the Speaker of the Senate his decision to resign from his position as a senator-elect for Bungoma. Now, this letter is addressed to the office of the Speaker of the Senate, which, by virtue of the provisions of Article 106(1)(2), only became vacant when the new Senate first met today. So the spirit of the Constitution espoused under Article 103(1)(c) is that the seat automatically becomes vacant upon receipt of the resignation of a letter, and there is no corresponding obligation imposed on the Speaker to accept or decline the resignation. Therefore, honorable members, in the present circumstances, and guided by the provisions of Article 74 of the Constitution, and the letters from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and from the Honorable Moses Wetangula, I have satisfied myself that the Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula is qualified for election as a Speaker of the National Assembly. The House is accordingly guided. Honorable members, I would like us now to proceed I would like us to proceed now to start the process of voting. And I now invite the Deputy Clerk to call out the names, after which, when your name is called, you will be issued with a ballot paper, and we shall proceed with voting. Thank you.
Duale Aden Bare. The people with disabilities. Okay, wait. Ngongo John Badi.
Ita huyo mwingine. Umemwita Badi?
Nimeita Badi. Nimeita Badi dole. Nimeita Maalim Farah. Maisha. Disabilities.
Kanda na hiyo speed tutakuwa mpaka midi.
Mumo Rose Museo, Wetangula Timothy Wanyonyi, Lomwa Joseph Samal.
It's a must that somebody gets you card round one. I agree. And then we'll go to round two.